I don't think I would ever read this book again. God, this had me giggling. This had me kicking my feet. Hi besties, welcome back to, this is not the vlog, this is the July reading wrap up. Okay, the last wrap up that I did was in April. It's been a while. We had a little bit of a hit. We hit a little bit of a hiatus in the middle. Anyways, we've got a new setup going on, clearly. I changed up my entire room. So I said last month that I was going to read 10 books this month. I only read 5. Which is fine. But you know what? It wasn't that good of a reading month. It really wasn't. I read 5 books and I think I only liked... One of them was a reread, one of them was an arc, and the other one I really enjoyed. One of the ones... Okay, you know what? Let's talk about this one. Okay, the first one we're going to talk about is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. Now, if you've seen my bookshelf, I love Elsie Silver, okay? And I have a physical copy of this because I pre-ordered it. But this is just not working out. This did not work out. Okay. This was honestly like just eh. It was very much eh. I gave it, I think, a 3 out of 5 stars. Only because the last part saved it. Okay, like the last part of the book, like the last, not even probably 50%, but like the last 75% was the only like good part of the book that I actually liked. Okay. Because, okay, you have Rosie and you have Ford. Ford is Willa's brother. Willa? What's her name right? What's her name right? Pause. It is Willa Grant. Okay, Ford is Willa's older brother. See, I don't remember things. And Rosalie Belmont, right? I feel like I'm getting everything wrong, guys. Rosie Belmont. Why do I call her Rosalie? Is it her name Rosalie? I feel like it's Rosalie. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, Rosie Belmont is Ford's best friend's little sister. And let's just say there's a little bit of friendly banter. Okay? That was probably my favorite part of the book, banter through the emails. Absolutely phenomenal. It is technically a workplace romance. It is best friend's sister and brother's best friend, technically. It is in dual POV, and it was not it. One of my best friends read this book and she ate it up, and good for her. But me personally, no thank you. I don't think I would ever read this book again. It was very boring. I did laugh at the banter, but overall it was very boring. I just wasn't getting behind it. I swear I'm not a hater. I love Elsie Silver, okay? And I did already pre-order Wild Eyes. But this book was just... I feel like it was first book syndrome because, I don't know. If you don't know what first book syndrome is, by the way, it is, for me, it's not a real thing, I don't think so. But for me, it is when a when a series has the first book, when the first book in the series is not that good. But then you continue on to the rest of the series and the rest of the series eats. I think the only exception to the 2 exceptions that I can think of to the first book syndrome is Dark Verse series and Hollow Boys by Monty J. Dark Verse by Runix. And if you don't already know that, then what are you doing here? Anyways, yeah, so this book was just not it. It was like the chemistry between 2 friends that were forced into a relationship. That's what I was getting through it. And that's it. It was not like, it wasn't anything life-changing. You know, it was nothing like, oh my goodness, this happened. No, it didn't. Moving on. This is Mateo by Melanie Moreland. And me being the very smart person that I am, I decided to buy the entire series when I went to the bookstore. And I got it half price because it was used. But I didn't realize I was missing the first book until I got home, posted it on my Instagram, and the author reached out and she's kindly sent me the first book. Yes, they are all signed. And yes, I very much appreciate the author. And this book, I think, also has first book syndrome because I am reading the second book right now. And it's not the best, but it is better. I think I gave this one a 2 out of 5 stars because it was very much meh. I did not see any character development, any plot development. I did not see any development at all. Nothing. I was just seeing 2 characters who I felt like were just shoved together in a space and they were just living through it. That's it. I don't have much to say about this book because I'm going to be completely honest. I don't remember much of it. It's a very like, it's a fairly short book. It says it's a forced proximity, but it was like, it's giving more of like marriage of convenience, kind of, sort of. It's 310 pages, and I don't really know what to say. Okay, it is the first book of the Men of Hidden Justice series, if you want to check it out. I am liking the second book so far. It is good. I just don't think it's going to be life-changing. Again, I think the book that I'm most excited for in this series is probably the last book, which is, I'm pretty sure, Damien the Watcher. Yeah, Damien the Watcher is the last book because it's Bodyguard, and I eat it up every single time. Let's hope I eat it up this time too. Okay, moving on. The next book I want to talk about is one of my favorites from this month, Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. This is my second book from Lila Sage. The first book of this series is Done and Dusted, and I think, what is the series called? Rebel Blue Ranch. The Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage. 10 out of 10. I love this book so much. I don't know if I showed the cover clearly. You can't really like, it's kind of blurry. Oh my god. They're like, because they're like sideways on the actual cover. That's kind of cool. Me learning how version looks. And this weather change really makes my asthma act up. Like, it really makes my asthma act up. Moving on. This follows, see, I can't remember names. I'm impossible with names. Weston, that was the guy's name. Ada. This follows Ada and Weston, and let's just say that they do not know they're supposed to be working together the next day. Okay. She's a city girl and he's a cowboy. This book was so good. Oh my god, this had me giggling. This had me kicking my feet. I think I read this in like 2 days. This was so well written. I enjoyed this book so much. Like, whether you're looking for a plot, for characters, for like found family, you've got everything. You've got absolutely everything. And I'm so excited to read the next book. I think it comes out in September or November. It was so cute. It was such like a comfort read. Like, it was just beautiful. It was written so well. Like, I can just, I'm like speechless. Like, this is one of those books that made me literally speechless. I gave this a 5 out of 5 rating. It was phenomenal. It was so good because like both characters were like, you know, like it was one of those books where it's like both characters were actually meant for each other. Like you don't have two characters shoved together. You have two people who are actually meant together. It's like one of those books where like, you know that they're gonna like stay together after the book was over. You get what I mean? This is that. I love Lila Sage's writing. Like, I was not into like cowboy stuff until I read Elsie Silver, which was like, I think last year. And then I found Lila Sage because I think I finished, what book did I finish at the time? I think I finished reading, where did I finish reading? I think I finished reading Heartless. And then I found Lila Sage. And the first book was really, really good. But I think I like the second book way better. I think the second book was like, the first book was also like phenomenal, but this book, out of the world, phenomenal. Moving on. Okay. No, you can hear my birds. My pride and joy. Yeah, there. And I was reading this the other day, and I didn't realize this is Lila Sage. See, my head just this is Lila Sage. Because equals to and the flames. So here's right. Guys, I love this series. This was like my 7th time rereading this, and I don't count my rereads for the Dark Verse series because it just like, it's like a, if I counted my rereads for the Dark Verse series, I would probably end up with 100 books a year, maybe even a month. I don't know. But anyways, I don't even need to rate this. Like, this is like a, there's like an automatic infinity. Like, I love this series. This is my everything. This is my absolute everything. Like, this, I'm gonna make an entire like video talking about the Dark Verse series, so I'm not going to get into this right now. But if you haven't already read it, I seriously don't know what you're doing. Like, I genuinely do not understand what you're doing with your life if you hadn't sat down and just like if you're a dark romance girly and you haven't read Dark Verse, pause right now and go and read it right now. Like, turn it off, come back later, but turn it off and go and read it. You have 5 books: The Predator, The Reaper, The Emperor, The Finisher, and The Annihilator, right? Yes. That's it. You only have 5. 2 of them are about the 2 of the first ones are about the same couple. The 3rd one and 4th one and 5th one are separate. But you have to read them in order. Because when the last book comes out, October 29th, you will be shook. because I know I will be. Anyways, moving on. The last book that I read was An Arc by Macy Tiriosa, and this is Freezing Bonds That Tie Our Hearts, which you cannot see. There we go. I am not a high school romance girly. So I thought I would not like this. Like when I first heard that this was a high school romance, and like I'm on Macy Tiriosa's ARC team, so I do get like, you know, I get these books. That's kind of what ARC team means, but anyways. I'm so special. Guys, I'm sorry. Okay, anyways. When I first saw like the trope, I was not excited. I'm gonna be completely honest. I was not excited. I'm like, I'm not gonna like this book. And I'm like, this is gonna be one of the exceptions. Like, I'm not gonna enjoy this, and like, you know, like I'm gonna have to rate it like either I'm gonna either have to DNF it or I'm going to have to rate it a low rating. Boy, was I wrong. I think I rated this a 4 out of 5. Yes, I did. So good. So good. Okay, I'm not even gonna get into like the relationship of the characters. Okay, I'm gonna get into the plot. This plot was so good. So good. So well written. Oh my god. This kept me on my toes. Because I feel like sometimes with Macy's books, I'm always like, there's more plot. There's more plot than like, how do I say this? Like, the plot is better than the characters for me. Because the characters like add on to the plot. Like, it's not like a separate, it's not like a separate thing going on. It's like together. I know that's like what a book is, but like, trust me, it makes sense. In my head, it makes sense. I hope it makes sense in yours. This was so well written. I really enjoyed, this follows Aiden and Nova, and it starts off with them being paired on a project together. Nova has a misunderstanding of Aiden based off something that happened in the past, and they get paired on an English project together, and that kind of becomes like, I guess, the root cause of them finding out more about each other. And there's stuff going on in their community, in their town, and these things are like deeply affecting them. So you see a lot of character growth. You see these characters grow in a space where like growing in high school is like a very important thing, right? I sound so philosophical. Let me restate. You're in a new stage of life. You're going to a new stage of life. You have everything going on. Grades matter. Everything starts to matter more. But things are different in this book because you've got these like 17, 18-year-olds worried about things that are way bigger than them and are affecting them to a different level. Like, make sure you check the trigger warnings on this before you read it. This was a sad book. This was a sad book. Like, it was written very well. So I wouldn't say that like it wasn't like the topics weren't handled with care. The topics were handled very well, in my opinion. It was just really sad because you have like these characters who should be only worried about their English projects or their homework or their graduation or university, but they're worried about things that are much bigger than them, and they're worried about people and just like things around them. And that was really interesting to read. That was really interesting to read because you're gonna see Aiden and Nova together, but you're also going to see them apart and the people that they are. You're not just going to see them growing together, but also like growing, no, I don't want to say growing apart, but growing individually in a way that's just like so maturing. Like they were maturing and they were realizing things around them, and it was really sad. It was really sad. Like, I cried a couple of times. And yeah, the ending was also really good, but it's one of those like hitting hard books, you know. And I feel like Macy writes those kind of books really well, where she'll take like heavy topics and she'll make them into like a story that's not only filled with like just that topic, but it's like you've got plot and you've got characters who are deeply affected by that, but characters who also grow because of the things that happen to them. And that's why I really enjoyed this. I went too deep about this book, but this was one of my favorites. I think the 4 out of 5 might have been the characters, and the 5 out of 5 would be the plot. It was very well written. The writing is a billion out of like 10. Really enjoyed this. And I think, yeah, this is the second book of the Blood and Water series, but that is my wrap up for the month. I read 5 books: The Annihilator, Wild Love, Swift and Silent, Mateo, and Freezing Bonds That Tie Our Hearts. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books or which ones you're interested to read. Let me know which books you read in July, which ones you're planning to read in August. I don't really do an August TBR or like a monthly TBR, I guess. I might do it this month because I do have plans to like finish specific books because of being on a bunch of ARC teams. Alhamdulillah for that. But yeah, that's kind of what I read this month. I hope you guys enjoyed. I think I'm gonna do more of these. I like sitting down and talking about books. This was fun. Anyways, okay.